Today we're back with Ielts and we're having a look at part 1 of the academic Ielts, where you have to write a report about graphs and pie charts and tables. Okay, so I'm going to be talking a little bit about what I call the magic numbers. Okay, so in this part of the exam you have to use lots of figures in your answer, and this is one of the problems that kind of people have. So you've got all these figures and you can't just keep saying things the same old way. For example, 25% of people do this, 34% of people do this, 75% of the people do this, 66% of the people do this, because you're saying it the same way, and in the question they do ask you to compare. Okay, so you've got to kind of pick out patterns with numbers. For example, have a look at the top one here, 50. This is important because another way of saying 50 is a half. Yeah, look at 25. Instead of saying 25%, how can you say that? A quarter. Okay, 34. Okay, so what's so special about this? Well, 33.333333 is a third, so you could say more than a third, or around a third of the people. 75, another magic number, because this is 3/4. And 66 should be 2/3. Okay, so these are kind of numbers and ways of comparing numbers or describing them in different ways. Okay, so let's have a little look at some more comparison. Okay, so here you can see we've got the red number 26 in the middle, and what we're going to be trying to do is compare it. Let's say you had some of these figures somewhere else in the graph. Okay, how could you compare these numbers? Let's start with the top one. You see, 26 to 55, you could say whatever the 55 is more than double the red 26, whereas the opposite trend is shown by the 12. You could say is less than half in comparison, whereas the 26 and 28, you could say they're not the same. You can't say that because one's 26 and one's 28. However, you could say that they're a similar number of people, or they're almost the same. Okay, so you have to be very specific with how you phrase things. And now let's compare 26 to 77. You could say 3 times as many, or you would have to say more than 3 times. I think my math is a little off. 26 and 26, 52, or maybe it is exactly 3 times. Anyway, be specific with your figures, look for patterns, and don't just keep saying things the same old way. Okay, you have to get in there and compare and look for some of these numbers, because they'll always give you things that they want you to compare. Okay, anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope this has been useful, and remember, look out for those magic numbers.